Good morning and welcome to a motivating Monday. We are here for our weekly read aloud, and today we have a fun book. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it. If you are familiar with The Three Little Pigs, it is very important that you are familiar with this story as well. It is called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs, and it is from the wolf's perspective because we always hear the three pigs' perspective. In this book, we get to hear the wolf's perspective. So we are going to go ahead and jump right into it. The true story of the Three Little Pigs. The story is told by John Scienska and illustrated by Lane Smith. And stay tuned because we do have an activity for you to work on once we're done listening to the story, compare and contrast. So you actually have an assignment. Once I'm done reading this story, you're going to have to find another book to get this assignment done. But we'll talk about that after our reading. The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. Here we go. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because no one has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks will probably think you were big and bad too. Now really get into the details of this illustration, showing us all the things that the wolf eats. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind will build a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. And I sneezed a great sneeze. And you know what? That whole darn straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. Okay, Mr. Wolf. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, go away, Wolf, you can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe this, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know food will spoil if you leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better, and I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old Granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. Now, he must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick door. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me even one little cup for my dear, sweet old Granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. Then the third little pig yelled, and your old Granny can sit on a pin. Oh, little pig got jazzy with him. Let's see what happens. Now, I'm usually a pretty kind fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. Well, when the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down this pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down stuff, and they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. The end. All right, so we have the wolf's version of the story. And now your job is to find your copy of The Three Little Pigs. Now, most of us have heard The Three Little Pigs, and even in this story, you kind of hear what The Three Little Pigs story is like, except it's told from the pig's point of view. So this time we heard the wolf's point of view. Now, once you've got both of those stories in your head, I want you to do a skill we call compare and contrast. So I have made a nice little, we call this a Venn diagram. And on this Venn diagram, you are going to do some compare and contrast. Let's see if I can get that There we go. All right. So on this side, you are going to put all the things that happen in our story, The Three Little Pigs. On this side, you're going to put all the things that happen in the story, the true story of the Three Little Pigs. So the pigs version, the wolf's version, and then in the middle, and if that's not enough room, or on the bottom, you can put how these two stories are the same. So all of that goes in the middle. And we call that compare and contrast. So how they are different and how they are the same. All right, so that is your assignment for today. I do hope you liked our story today. Seaver proud, MPS proud.